Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about the Prosperous Innkeeper. All right, so let's talk about the Prosperous Innkeeper. So who is the Prosperous Innkeeper in Dungeons & Dragons? So first of all, Dungeons & Dragons has had taverns for a long time, but the Prosperous Innkeeper is a new Dungeons & Dragons archetype established as cross-platform. So we've had the Prosperous Innkeeper as a concept in Dungeons & Dragons since 1974, right? But recently, it was cemented in Magic the Gathering. So Magic the Gathering is fundamentally, you can think about Magic the Gathering, every card in Magic the Gathering, the best way to think about it is unbound pages of Dungeons & Dragons canon, okay? There's tons of Magic the Gathering settings. They're all pure Dungeons & Dragons, like Baldur's Gate, Adventures in Forgotten Realms, Strixhaven, Ravnica. The list goes on and 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 on, right? And there's a card called Prosperous Innkeeper. So we have this Prosperous Innkeeper. Now, the rest of what I'm about to tell you, you got to keep it secret. You got to keep it safe. Because if this gets out in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, I'm cooked, all right? So recently, I got into a weird space where I was craving chili dogs, right? So we got this place called Freddy's, right? And I can get a chili dog for $6 at Freddy's. It's a good chili dog. It's not bad, right? And I would have it every now and then, but it was okay chili dog. It's good. It's actually a good chili dog, right? But I got in this mode where I was really into a chili dog, and I asked someone I love, like, hey, can you get chili? And I'm going to put it on my hot dog at home. That was a complete failure. I have no ability to make a chili dog, not in any world, so that was a terrible deal. So I don't know what it was, but here's how it happened. I went to Chalfont, PA. Why did I do that? Dungeons & Dragons. Every single, not every single, half the things that have happened in my life happened because of Dungeons & Dragons. So this whole situation happened because of Dungeons & Dragons, okay? So I'm going to Chalfont, PA. Why am I going to Chalfont, PA? To buy extra swords for my Lego Dungeons & Dragons super dope official red Dragon's Tail minis, right? I need them to have every weapon type, right? I can't be waiting until September 1st, right? So I'm going to a used brick store in Chalfont, PA. Now, I don't know this area, right? And I get out in the sticks, baby. This is an area I just don't know, right? And I'm like, man, I'm hungry, and I'm going into the secondhand brick shop, right? The secondhand Lego shop. They sell Lego, only Lego, secondhand. And when I'm there for 2 or 3 hours, right? Because I need the exactly right parts, and it's a whole thing. I had $120 to sell. And by the way, you can see everything I bought on that $120 trip right here in the shorts on my channel, right? So I got the receipts for what I'm telling you, right? So I go there, right? And halfway there, I'm hungry, right? And so I stop at a 7-Eleven, right? And I see this sign, and I don't know what I'm going to get, right? But it says Big Bite, hot dog, and right, and a big gulp for $3. What? Right? So I'm like, so I get this thing, and then I go over to put some relish on it, right? And I see the machine, right? And it is a chili cheese machine, and it squirts out of tubes both chili and cheese. And I'm like, what is happening? What dark corner of the world have I found, right? So I get my chili dog, and it is delicious. It is ridiculously sloppy. This is chili squirted out onto the top of this dog, right? I was like, wait, what is my life that I'm squirting cheese onto a hot dog and then squirting chili on top of a hot dog, and it's better than what I got at Freddy's, and it's half the price with a drink. So it's really only a quarter. This is the best chili dog I can buy, right, for a quarter of the price, right? I fall down the chili dog pit, and I have been eating chili dogs for 3 months, okay? And now I can't go to regular restaurants because I'm like, wait a second, you just charged me $15. That's 5 chili dogs and 5 big gulps. Man, I am ruined for food, right? Like, I just, every time, now, I don't, now I only do this when I go out, right? Like, when I'm going out, balling out, going out, like, on the town, right? I will stop and get myself a chili dog, right? Now, I will not get out, I will not get it now, and this is the only reason I'm alive and I don't weigh 400 pounds, right? Is I only do this when I'm going out for another reason. But if I'm out, right, and I'm coming back, I'm gonna stop for a chili dog, right? Now this is where it gets weird, okay? Now you don't know this because you don't live in Pennsylvania, but Wawa is the faux shizzle, right? It is like king convenience store, queen convenience store. It is the Kelsey Dion of TTRPG designers as a convenience store. Like, it is just the faux shizzle queen of convenience stores, right? And if you're in Pennsylvania, you don't go nowhere. And I will tell you, I have lived my life never entering a 7-Eleven. I'm like, we got Wawa. Like, you can get a hoagie, you can get a meatball sandwich, you can get, everything's fresh, everything's extremely well lit, right? Like, it is the bomb dizzle, right? It's super clean, it's super convenient. And recently, they started building these things called Super Wawas, where even driving in is a luxury. Like, it's a gigantic parking lot. They build these things like airports now, right? Like, it's amazing, right? We have the best convenience stores in the world, and it's called a Wawa, okay? So it is verboten. If you live in PA, you never go into a 7-Eleven. You just don't. If you live around Wawa, right? Because it's just so much better. But Wawa don't have a chili dog. Wawa don't have a chili dog, and even if they did, they would probably cook the chili in some kind of thing and ladle it out, and then they would put some kind of chopped cheese. Man, you ain't had a chili dog until you've had the 7-Eleven squirt the cheese on the top, squirt the chili on the top. Man, it is like nothing you've ever tasted. It is nectar from the deities. It is amazing, right? So it is really phenomenally good, okay? Now here's the issue. And so I went to the Wawa the other day, and I didn't even buy anything. And I walked in, and it was like going to Rivendell. Every single light was on. We rolled into the parking lot, chose any space we wanted, right? Like, and then every single spot inside was lit. Super nice, right? I go, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm ruined. I'm ruined for Rivendell. I'm getting my food in Mordor now, right? When I go to the 7-Eleven, I don't even park in the 7-Eleven parking lot. I park in the strip mall next to it, right? Like, because there ain't enough room to get in and out. When I go in, half of it is beautifully lit. Beautifully lit. The other half is in darkness, and there are gambling machines, like slot machines, electronic slot machines in the corner. There are people sitting there pulling those things, and you're like, what? Like, it truly is like seeing the dead look up from the swamps, right? Like, it's just, you're like, where am I? This is not a well-lit, I don't even know if it has a bathroom, because I would never, ever, like, I don't know what's in that place. I don't even look at all of it, right? I'm like, just give me my chili dog. I'm gonna exit backwards, right? Like, and it's not a well constructed like experience, but the chili dog is amazing, and it costs virtually nothing, right? Like, I measure all food value by the 7-Eleven chili dog now, right? But let's talk about the Prosperous Innkeeper. It is not as good, and it's like going to Wawa. It's like going to Rivendell, right? Going to 7-Eleven, it's like going to Mordor. But you would go to Mordor if it had the best chili dog ever at the best price, right? You see, that's where we're at, right? But I want to talk about the Prosperous Innkeeper. This poor guy, he's in there every time I go in there, right? The innkeeper at the 7-Eleven. He is there 3 out of 4 times when I go in. Right? He doesn't, actually, I think he does not know my name because I paid by credit card, right? But he greets me every time I go in, and he knows my order, right? And by the way, big gulp's excellent. It's really nice. I go for the chili dog, but getting a big gulp is really nice, right? So it is profound just what is happening in this situation, right? And this innkeeper is the best, right? I go in. There's been a couple times where I need something else. He always told me exactly where to get it, right? He would have to point it. He would usually have to point it out because it's like often not. It's yeah. But he is really nice, right? And he always has a smile, and he treats me with respect, and he treats that transaction, that purchase of that 7-Eleven chili dog, like we are exchanging a gold doubloon for a treasure map, right? I'm treated like a king. When I arrive, he knows exactly what I want. He's got a smile on his face. We exchange pleasantries. I have the most goodwill for this person of anyone outside of my family, right? He's just the absolute best, the prosperous innkeeper, because our relationship is simple, and he always has what I need, and he is always extending hospitality to me, right? And there are times where he will say, you know, oh, did you want this one or did you want that one? It's incredible, and it's just, and honestly, it is better service than I have had at many restaurants, right? The prosperous innkeeper is incredibly important to your Dragon Masters player characters. They are a respite, right? And this is me coming off, like, when I'm coming off of going to get my chili dog, right? I got one tonight, right? I went to the movies, right? I sat for 2 hours watching a movie, right? But I'm like, ooh, I need a respite. Can you imagine your adventurer coming off of 3 days hard travel, right? Going in and being greeted by the prosperous innkeeper, right? And if you're a Dragon Master, you need to extend kindness and respect, right? I am thinking now on what Christmas card I will give this guy. It's a good relationship. He always has what I want. He's thrilled to get my $3. The prosperous innkeeper, right? And the next time you roll your adventure with their dirty feet and their leather, and their sweaty leather armor, and that prosperous innkeeper gives them everything they need for their respite, make sure that you are role playing the happiness to see the prosperous innkeeper. The prosperous innkeeper is the best. And get yourself a prosperous innkeeper Magic the Gathering card. It's an unbound page of canon, right? In my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less, on the absolute reality that the 7-Eleven chili dog is the finest specimen of food on the planet, in my humble opinion. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.